teams, only one loss this year, both coming against the Nittany Lions. And the question today, who makes a statement and who starts 1-0 in the Ivy League? Opening faceoff is controlled by the Big Red for a moment, but then Yale's able to scoop up the ground ball with Jack Stuzen. Quick attack and a shot fired wide. Scorer in the first 3 games of the year. He had 2 goals against Denver, and he's got the first goal today. And a violation on the faceoff. That's been a big issue for Cornell this year. And Yale's going to have another possession. That's 4 possessions already for Yale, and Cornell has really not gotten the ball across midfield. Week against Denver, doesn't take him long to get on the board today.
Well, and you got to remember, Chris Lyons last year in the Cornell game up in Ithaca, he didn't start. He hadn't played at that point. They were still they were playing Will Cabrera at attack, and then he had his coming out party. He had 3 goals and really kind of made a name for himself and really transformed this Yale offense.
Well, finally, Cornell will get its first offensive set of the game. As Pat told you, Michael Long, number 1 for the Big Red week in the win against Denver. But it's Kelleher's first goal of the day and his 6th of the season. Nick Ramsey had the face-off, but pass got away, picked up by Marc Psyllos for Cornell. And the Big Red on the attack, looking to tie it up early. His first 2, Cornell has the next 2. For Aiden Blake, his 3rd goal of the year. And again, the All-American defender, Gavin Adler, comes up with that ground ball, his 21st of the year. He is as good as it gets on the back end. And when we asked Coach, 3-2 lead for Cornell. They've scored 3 straight goals, but Nick Ramsey gets the face-off win for Yale, trying to keep it, and a flag is out. And this is going to be against the Big Red. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed, glad to be with you on a great day. It's alumni weekend, so a packed house here. And we'll get our first look now at the Yale extra man after this whistle.
And we're seeing a little view of the hold here. And that was just a very clear hold. Nick Ramsey doing a great job on the faceoffs today.
Again, playing with Wyatt Nust in goal right now. The sophomore out of Tampa. Clean faceoff win. Angelo Petrakis just wide. Big Red able to back it up, though. They are humming offensively at the moment and have seized momentum in this game, Pat.
One of the things Coach Busick talked about was being good off of the ground. And right now, Cornell is really owning the ground balls. They really, Yale needs to focus a little bit less on the contact, more on getting that. I think the Yale coaching staff and Yale fans are really hoping that he does.
Ramsey again on the face-off with Petrakis, who did not play last week against Penn State. He gets the ball and draws a call here. Brandow kicks it along. Yale still trying to pick it up, and Ramsey finally does, and we will get the call with 3:28 to go in the first quarter. We didn't have this as the situation last week. Yale got off to a pretty good start against Denver, but the previous 3 games, Yale was down after the first quarter. In each of those games, they were able to win 2 of them, but again today, falling behind early at home.
And this is the story that Yale had last year with when they played Cornell. Up at Cornell, the down 7-1 in the first quarter, and then were able to drag back in and
back in the net, ran right back on the field after that goal. Wertheim gets his 2nd of the season, and the Big Red have turned a 2-0 deficit into a 6-2 lead with under 2 to go in the first quarter. And they are dominating the faceoffs right now as Walker Wallace, who scored his first career goal earlier, comes up with that ground ball. And also has a goal. And an avalanche from the visitors. 8 consecutive goals. And this.
Yeah, they've been just a tremendous matchup, and well, you know, over 100 years of matchups, and I'm surprised that there wasn't a call there on that push.
It is out of bounds, though, against Cornell, as Brendan Staub couldn't keep it in. 4 against Penn State, 5 in the UMass game. Again, held off the board last week, but 2 today. Violation on the face-off against Cornell, and Yale gets the ball right back. really no issues with the Bulldog offense today. It's just not having enough possessions to this point.
They've been all right. They had
season. Former top 10 recruit in the country. And it's back to 8-4, and Marc Rodriguez doing a great job since coming in for Yale. Wins another face-off, but the pass got away from the long stick of Jack Stuzen. American, the Ivy League Rookie of the Year, had 55 goals and 24 assists, and has to even take a bigger step this year with the 66 goals of John Piatelli graduating, and he's done it. Prior to the year, Connor Busick said, you know, you don't just go in the locker room and still Marc Rodriguez on the face-off for Yale against Petrakis, who is 5 for 6 today. Rodriguez did come in and make an impact last week, going 4 of 8 against Alex Strathakis from Denver, who's one of the best in the country on the face-offs, but this ball knocked out of his stick. Billy Coyle trying to scoop that up, and does, and secures the possession. Kirst is wide open.
And this, we're looking at this kind of a first quarter all over again. A great ground ball for Cornell. Creates a situation where you've got nobody seeing Kirst on that back door. Wide open in front of the net. And the Cornell fans starting with their Let's Go Red chant. So can Nick Ramsey come in and try to slow things down and get that ball back for that Yale offense?
Well, he violates, and Cornell's going to get another possession here. Kirst now with 3 goals today. He had an 11-point game a couple weeks ago against Hobart's loss against Penn State last week at home. They already have doubled that goal total in less than a half. And Angelo Petrakis has been a big reason why Cornell has a big lead in this game. For Cornell, and Marc Psyllos was 5 for 8. Jack Kaskinen was 0 for 2. And as we start the second half, first faceoff is picked up by Jack Monfort for Yale. And they're going to go quickly here, try and get off to a good start. Monfort, though, misses wide.
And you've seen a lot of Yale, a lot of looks, but just not able to bury the shot. I'll be curious to see that stick, even though your body is just right at goal line extended, that stick is 2 yards up, and being able to put that ball in the net.
Largest lead of the game now for the Big Red, and a clean face-off win for Psyllos. Quickly, Psyllos scores.
And this is gut check time for the Bulldogs. I don't recall ever seeing Yale just run over like this. So I've done every home game since our first game was 12 years ago, I think tomorrow. And I haven't seen a team come out and really just railroad Yale like this. They've always played close games.
Marc Rodriguez wins it clean. He shoots and scores. Right back at you, says the sophomore.
And now Petrakis is going back in to face off. And can he do the same thing against Petrakis, who's has had a great game so far after not seeing action last week?
First career goal for Machado Rodriguez. Quickly back to 14-5. By the way, Cornell's season high for goals, 17 against Hobart. 14 so far today. Yale has scored at least 11 goals in every game. Only at 5 right now, but another possession as Rodriguez won the faceoff. And here's that Brandau-Adler matchup. Rodriguez, another win on the faceoff. Largest lead of the day right now for the Big Red. Brandau just tiptoes the sideline, trying to get things set up. You know, if you had told either of us before the game any number of results today, we'd probably believe you, but I don't think either of us would have thought 15. 16-5, Cornell on top of Yale, 4:06 to go in the third quarter. Big Red, a dominant performance so far in the road, but it has been such a change from last week for Cornell. Could not score against Penn State at home, and they've seemed unstoppable so far today on the road. Able to come up with this loose ball. It's Jack Follows. And Cornell gets the ball here. We start the fourth quarter, and Pat Reed, it has been all Columbia today, a 16-5 lead. Here's Mac Rodriguez for Brandow, missing wide. That's the first shot of the game for Brandow. Only a 13-12 advantage for Cornell. Mac Rodriguez has done a good job in the third quarter, and now the fourth in that spot. Loose ball here, and Hackler comes up with it for Yale, but runs right into a triple team, and Cornell gets the ball right back. Nope, they're going to call a hold against the Big Red, so it's Yale ball. Against Yale is a lot different than doing it against Hobart. A push here against Cornell, so it's Yale ball.
You know, I'm curious if I'm Coach Shea, and he's over there saying, I don't know how you don't call that a push with possession. The ball's in his stick. He pushes him down. That's got to be a push with possession. That should be a time-serving penalty and not just.
Face-off win for Mac Rodriguez. He streaks all the way in, and Erlin makes the save. Back over the top. Remember, Erlin on goal. Cornell up 18-7 on the road here as Ramsey wins the face-off. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed, and our entire crew, glad you're with us. Chris Lyons with the ball for Yale. Trying to maybe build some momentum into next week as this game winds down. Hard to imagine games. And he is the only Yale player with multiple goals today.
But the other guy that you're really seeing have a day is Billy Coyle. What's he got? 6, 7 assists right now?
Yeah, goal and 6 assists for Coyle. One of the best days of
2 weeks back, and they built this huge lead on Harvard, and then Harvard put a bunch of goals in at the end, and the stat line, the score looks different than what we saw all the game.
You know, back to Coyle, who's playing in his 33rd career game today for Cornell. He had 16 points in his season so far before today. 13 goals, 3 assists. He has a goal and 6 assists today.
Better job of just shutting off Kirst, because the last person you want to be the guy having to double that ball is your goalie.
Ramsey trying to pick up that loose ball, and instead, guess who? It's Adler. What a day for the senior out of Hewlett, New York. Gavin Adler, that is his 9th ground ball. He's caused a couple turnovers. And, you know, at 5'8", 180.
Right open on the doorstep. And after you've killed, you know, you're doing this defense to try to force a turnover, trying to get the ball back. And Cornell holds it until there's less than 10 seconds left on the shot clock and then scores.
Hackler picks this one up for the Bulldogs. Out in front of the pack. Hackler stopped by Erlin. 20 saves for Chase Erlin. 21 now.
And may look a little bit better on paper, but it is. Cornell has done put on a clinic today, and just an amazing job.
They'll run out the rest of this clock. And what an impressive performance on the